The grey man does whatever a grey man can. Can he make a comic feed? Yes, he can. He just did. Watch now, a video from Grey Man. A video from Grey Man.
Grey Maniacs gather! How you doing, all you lovely Grey Maniacs out there in video watching land? It's me again, going through box 28. The last one's of box 28. It's mainly Spider-Woman. So, yeah. Yes, the original Spider-Woman. Unfortunately, I don't have a very first appearance. That would be nice if I did. Never say never. Possibly in the future. But very happy to have this full run. It's probably going up a bit in price now. The number one I got, it wasn't too terrible. It was I can't remember what I paid for it though, but I'm pretty sure it's getting up and up as the days go on. Who knows? There may be a film with her in maybe one day. Who knows? All these Spider-Verses that we get, there could well be a Jessica Drew first appearance at some point. And yeah, I don't see why not, because she's a good character. She's cool. Sort of paused my game. I'm about to play Fallout and I just set it up. I'm going to start playing it in a second. Well, after I've done this video, of course. She has some cool villains, like kind of like very much on the sort of edges of horror, with Werewolf by well, not necessarily Werewolf by Lunchtime, Werewolf by Night, and some like the Hangman, and the Brothers Grimm were quite cool villains as well. A lot of her villains, like Gypsy Moth was the other one called, Needle, they all end up becoming the Night Shift, who are like a team of villains led by the Shroud, who wasn't a villain but pretended to be a villain to set villain against villain in a kind of Green Hornet kind of way. He pretended he was a villain, didn't he, so he could take out other villains, and that's kind of what Shroud's done with the Night Shift. Digger is another member of the Night Shift. Used to be a horror host from Tower of Shadows. Actually, my birthday book, September 1969, my birth month, is when the cover date of the first Tower of Shadows, and that's the first appearance of Digger. Yeah, he ended up becoming, as I say, a member of the Night Shift. So he went from being just a horror host to being an actual person, an actual character in the Marvel Universe. The whole universe, not just like in the horror elements. But yeah, the Brothers Grimm were a pretty cool partnership. Sort of wacky, kind of sort of half magic based. No, she even faces against the Shroud. I'm not really sure when the Shroud debuted actually. I don't think he debuted in this comic. I'm pretty sure he didn't. I'll have to look that up sometime actually. I have no idea when the Shroud started. It's quite a cool hero, I think, the Shroud. Not used as much as he could be, but I suppose Cloak and Dagger came along, and Cloak's got almost the same kind of powers as him, except Shadow is blind, and he's got sort of, I think he's got some superior martial arts skills as well that he can fight in the blind. Unless I'm thinking of the guy from DC Comics, I may be confusing them. I may be confused. I think he's a good fighter, but I can't remember now. I know he's definitely blind, but he calls his darkness. He's also it's a kind of a mixture of Dr. Midnight from DC as well, isn't he? Where he can create darkness, but he can see in darkness. Well, I'm not sure if he can actually see, or if it's just because he's blind, he's used to the dark, and so he's got no what's the opposite of benefits? No detriment from being in the dark. I can't remember exactly. I think he can see in the dark though. He's as good as can see in the dark, put it that way. He's got maybe other heightened senses, or anyway, but he certainly doesn't have any hang-ups about beating up villains in the dark. Well, I've gone off on a tangent there. Let's just show you these comic book covers. And of course, Jessica, great costume, beautiful character, a whole lot of booty, a whole lot of hair. It's quite weird because I only read this thing last year. I finally had the whole series last year sometime. No, it was last year. Yeah, beginning of last year. Because I remember I was reading it when I was working for a month last year. God bloody hell, so long ago now. It's been another year since I last worked. Well, it's been locked down for a year, isn't it, as well? So, well, not really locked down, but let's not go there. Let's not go there. Anyway, yeah, originally she kind of like weird. Like she was some kind of pheromones or something to do with spiders where people didn't like her, automatically didn't like her. It was a bit of a weird thing. I think they kind of got rid of that. I think they just kind of silently stopped talking about it and then never sort of brought it in anymore. I'm not sure though. I think she had some, possibly just some other pheromone powers in some later appearances of her that I saw. I can't remember now. Yeah. Anyway. She wasn't very good socially either because she'd sort of lived practically on her own for quite a long while in Wundagore. She was raised, I think, on Wundagore by the high evolutionaries, animal people. I think her parents died. I can't remember. The parents were there with her for a while because they took her there, and she got sick, and they used some kind of spider concoction, spider genes maybe, to heal her, but it also gave her powers. She has these glider wings that she can fly with. They weren't very well realised, but apparently I think remember reading recently that actual real spiders can actually float on electrical impulses or something. I don't know. Well, I didn't read the article fully, but I just saw the headline. And I think spiders can. I don't know if I've read that right, if I'm imagining things. But maybe someone who's more scientifically or saw that article can post something in the comments. So yeah, so it makes more sense of her glider wings is what I was trying to get at, to be honest. Her costume with her hair. It's actually a wig, isn't it? Her hair is also a wig. Her hair isn't quite as buoyant and boisterous as it is on the covers. Not quite as luxurious. She has got nice hair. You have to think that long hair would be a detriment in a fight, though. Yeah. Remember when I got jumped one time, my hair was certainly a detriment. Alright. Her deadliest foes, the X-Men. Cool covers though. This is a nice... The red of her costume mingling with the red of the background. She looks almost like she's invisible, but it's an interesting sort of cover. I think Morgana Le Fay was one of her villains as well, wasn't she? That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that because the rest of this box I've just showed off over the last couple of videos has been Demon, and of course one of his main villains is Morgana Le Fay, or Morgana or Morgane Le Fay, and and Spider-Woman faces off with against the Marvel's version of Morgane Le Fay. Also Viper. At one point it's said that Viper is her mother. I'm pretty sure that wasn't continued with. And there's Silver Samurai. He's like a low-end villain, but he's a really cool-looking villain now. I always said that about Silver Samurai. He does look cool. Yeah, I'm not sure if Viper is still down as being a mother, because I'm not sure if when you look at the pictures of them, the age doesn't look much difference, but I suppose Viper might have some kind of something that's stopping her from aging, or you just can't tell from comic books, can you? But she'd have to be like in her 40s, wouldn't she? Spider-Woman's in her 20s. But anyway, who knows? One thing as well, spoilers, like the end of the Spider-Woman run is very unusual, I think, for the run. She's dead. She dies. She is dead. Yeah. It's not like in a real kind of violent... It's like her soul is made to leave her body for too long, so she's technically dead. But then later on, she's brought back in some Avengers comics. She's like in the hospital bed, and I can't remember who was responsible for getting into the spirit realm and helping to free her from the spirit realm. But there's Mordred. I think it's the same Mordred who's been using Marvel a few times. He's got something to do with it as well. I think she's romantically entangled with him in this limbo dimension, and he wants to get her out because, like, he thinks it's like, although he loves her being there, it's unfair she can still live, and he doesn't want her to be dead if she can go back to life. So she ends up going back to life. I don't know an awful lot more about the character. Stopped reading the Marvel in the 90s, so I'm not too sure. I've seen plenty of pictures of her being heavily pregnant, looking like she's fighting crime while heavily pregnant. I don't know if she did fight crime. She was heavily pregnant. It seems a little on the trepidatious side, if that be a good way to put it. Blatantly hazardous. It's a weird cover, that one. Can't work out if it's art or whether it's pictures and photographs and art combined. Anyway, that was the last one. There's our gypsy moth down in the bottom corner there. Right, so that was the Spider-Woman first run. Right, a couple of things I've got in this box. I've got a little Judge Dredd run. Judge Dredd Year 1. I basically got one of these issues in a mystery box at one point, and so I bought the rest of the run. IDW. Can't remember what I think of it now, how good a story it was. I think it was decent enough. I can't remember it didn't wildly blow me away. Yeah, I can't say I recall. Good art on the cover though. That's a real good depiction of Dredd. The stolid, solid, stern, imperious Dredd. Right, a little vigilante 6-parter, I believe. A bit of a confusing one. I think there's a psychiatrist and the vigilante is visiting him to be psychoanalyzed, but the psychiatrist actually is him, and so he's like seeing himself. It's something weird like that. But the vigilante's been played by so many different people. I remember looking up. There's been about 7 people who've been the vigilante in the DC universe. Not including the original vigilante from the 7 Soldiers of Victory, the cowboy one. This is the other one with the. You can sort of see actually, this is not the typical costume of the original. Well, not the original, but yeah, you sort of see it. But yeah, I can't remember which one this one is. But it's not. Was it Veidt? Is it Adrian Veidt? No, Adrian Veidt was him and Dias, wasn't it? I can't remember now. Something like that. Anyway, whatever. It was really weird because in the Green Arrow TV show, they had the vigilante, but the guy, like the pseudonym that was some Adrian something or other, ended up not being the vigilante. He ended up being somebody else. If you understand what the heck I'm talking about. Well, this is just some random comics that my mate Elric gave me that his dad had. This is Hawkwind versus the Forces of Chaos, Savage Henry. He's a massive Hawkwind fan. And so, yeah. You can actually see Sid written on the bag there, because that was his dad's name. He wrote it on there because he thought he might want it because he actually worked in the shop as a carpenter that did the comic book exchange. And he helped by fixing the shelves and that kind of stuff. So anything came in they thought he might want, they put it aside for him. Right, there's a couple of music related ones. I think some of these I got off my mate Bub. Not Bub's comic, but a guy called Bub. Not named after what Wolverine says, but named after the zombie from Day of the Dead. Is it Day of the Dead? Or Dawn? No, it's Day of the Dead, isn't it? The one in the underground bunker where they got the trained zombie who doesn't automatically straight away kill people. He's called Bub, and that's what my mate's named after. The Grateful Dead, rock and roll comics. Grateful Dead, Poison. Not my cup of tea. And finally, Queensryche. Yeah, they're all kind of like metally, rocky kind of bands, but none of those are particularly my cup of tea. There's punk bands, Sex Pistols, yeah. No, Grateful Dead, not really listened to. Poison, no, basically. That's it then. So that's the end of this box. I'll be back. I'm not sure what date it is today. I think I've decided that I'm going to make these twice weekly, these going through the boxes videos. So they're going to be Thursdays and Sundays. So I'll be back either Thursday or Sunday going through box number 29, which might be my Justice League box. I'm not 100% sure. It might be my Flash box. I don't remember. I've got so many. I've just ordered 5 more long boxes. I have no idea where I'm going to stack them. But like I was putting some Action Comics away, and I realised I haven't got enough room in that box for the Action Comics. I had a small box that I thought I could fill up with older Action, but no, the way I've been buying Actions is going to need to get bigger, so I've gone for a long box. As I say, I don't know where I'm going to stack the long boxes at the moment. You worry about these things afterwards. Get the boxes in first, then worry about what you can do with them. I got some juggling to do as well, because I've got a big stack of Hulk that I don't have a box to live in at the moment. Oh dear. Anyway, I'll be back soon. Till next time, I hope you all have a great, amazing day, and I hope that all your news will be good news. Pretty vacant.